Hello, guys. Welcome to the next AMA of Minutes Network. Thank you all for joining.
Hello and welcome to the Minutes Network AMA. I'm Matthew Walsh, and with me today is Josh Watkins, the CEO of Minutes Network. Let me explain how this session is going to work. First, we have a set of questions collected from the community that we will answer. As you hear them, if you have follow-up questions, please feel free to post them in the community chat, and that will address these afterwards. Finally, if there are any audience members who want to take the microphone and ask further questions, that would be great, and we will take these last. The whole event should last around 30 minutes, so without further ado, let's go for the first question. Questions from Yuri. If I have 100,000 tokens, am I better off putting it all on one switch mode or on two switch nodes?
So it's a very good question. And the answer is we do support overstaking or increased staking. And the better of the two would probably be to put it all on one node. This allows for more node stakers to enter the node staking and will provide you with a similar amount of rewards. But it will be different if you stake on two nodes. So we'll release more information on the tokenomics in the very near future.
If I have unstaked tokens, can I delegate the stake to someone else's node?
No, we do not support delegation in staking. You cannot delegate your stake to somebody else's node.
Question from Flippy. Do we have a more specific date for the TGE?
The TGE will be released in Q2. We have now entered Q2. You can expect to hear more information on the release of the TGE in the very near future.
Questions from CoinFlipper. I've seen this information on the Discord tab on the M&T website, Mintech Development Sandbox, MDS. MDS is the center of Minutes Network pre-production and ensures a continuous stream of forward innovation across 2024. MDS anticipates expanding Minutes Network services to iOS and extend Minutes Network product offerings into the instant messaging sector. How would it work considering we're a couple months into 2024?
We're excited about announcing our entrance to the instant messaging sector, including SMS support and more. We are not quite ready to make an announcement on this yet, but if you follow the socials closely, we will make an announcement very soon.
How does Minutes Network ensure the privacy and confidentiality of user data and interactions on its platform?
Security is a priority for us at Minutes Network, and we follow all of the requirements, including GDPR. All of the data in our databases is using heavy encryption, and our developers are all very security-minded with security backgrounds.
Question from AMT. When are you launching marketing campaigns? If you just bear with us one moment.
Can you hear me now, Matthew?
Yes, I can hear you. So I'll just repeat the question for you. We have a question from AMT. When are you launching marketing campaigns?
The marketing campaigns are actively in discussion with different tier 1 marketing agencies as we speak, and we're looking forward to launching our marketing campaigns. You can expect to see a major ramp up in the marketing of Minutes Network and Minutes Network Token in the coming days.
Questions from AS. How is Minutes Network Token different from Telcoin?
We are a totally different sector of telecommunications than Telcoin. I looked at Telcoin when I saw this question come through in the community, and we are operating in the paid-for carrier operative sector of the industry, and we are handling paid-for calls from carriers and reinvigorating their profits and core revenues. We are not in any way at all related to Telcoin.
Is it possible to collaborate and partner with them?
We're expanding on our partnerships. We made a new partnership today with a company called Nodify. Nodify are helping us to further decentralize our hosted network. And we will look into partnerships with Telcoin and related companies in the near future.
Questions from user Dermot. Can one classify Minutes Network token as a DePIN project?
Absolutely. We're entirely decentralized. All of the node infrastructure and telecommunications infrastructure is owned by users and managed either by the users or by the project. We support several different types of hosting, including EarthNode hosting, which is totally decentralized, different cloud providers of the user's choice, or you can bring your own host to further allow for the decentralization of the infrastructure.
Further questions from Dermot. I've registered my interest in running a node, but cannot afford the early node reservation option. When and how will we find out about when the nodes are available to purchase, and what options to pay for them do we have?
We'll release more information on the public sale in the very near future. And in that information, it will list the supported currencies and some information regarding the staking events.
Question from Darko. Is it true that WMT holders will get an airdrop?
Yes, we're very excited. The WMT holders will get an airdrop, and you can expect to see more information prior to the public sale on this question.
Question from Genix. Will the Unity node be something with limited availability, just like Earth nodes?
No, the Unity node is available for everybody. You don't have to stake or pay for the Unity node, and it generates cryptocurrency from your handset on your desk at home. It's supported by most mobile telephones, and we'll release a big announcement very soon in collaboration with World Mobile on the Unity nodes.
Question from Big Rhino. Can someone explain how the buyback process works? Is it similar to World Mobile?
Sure. We take the net revenue of Minutes Network, and we use the net revenue to purchase Minutes Network tokens from the open market, causing buy pressure. We then distribute those purchased tokens to network participants, including stakers, callers, callees, and Minutes Network itself. More information is in an infographic that we released today.
Questions from Theodorus. Why wouldn't someone choose to use Skype or Viber for an international call?
Skype and Viber do not allow you to call a paid-for user, in the sense that you cannot call somebody connected to the PSTN, the public switching telephone network, from Skype or Viber for free. And we do not originate calls from Skype or Viber. We're working closely with Tier 1 and Tier 2 carriers across the globe for these calls to be originated. And we do not operate in the peer-to-peer market. So we're in a different sector of telecommunications than Skype or Viber.
Questions from Trident. Will Minutes Network reveal what the Unity node is before the TGE?
Yes, we will. More information will be released on the Unity node as soon as possible. We're very excited for this release.
What use cases does the Unity node have?
It generates you cryptocurrency from home. You can run it on your mobile phone. Not all phones are supported, but we have a large list and it's growing. And you can literally run an application, opt in, and you can generate cryptocurrency from your desk with no expensive hardware, no expertise, no power cost like the traditional GPU mining. And it's very exciting. It's a world's first. Nobody's ever seen anything like we're about to release. And as I said before, we're very excited for this one.
What layer 2 will you be using?
We are in discussion right now with several different layer 2s. It's a hard decision to make. We're trying to find a layer 2 with high reliability due to the nature of our operation in telecommunications. We need something extremely reliable. But we're talking to about 5 or 6 of them right now, and we're having ongoing discussions. The layer 2 will be released with the white paper, and it's a very exciting decision that's yet to be made.
When will we start running the nodes?
You can run the nodes as soon as staking opens.
Will you add more countries to the current tests so that we can see more countries in the Explorer?
Absolutely. More countries are coming. We're looking at, expanding globally. And the more countries we add, of course, the more buy pressure and rewards that will be distributed. So adding countries is high on the priority list.
Can you provide more clarity on how the burn mechanism works? Is the formula circulation supply minus stake supply divided by total supply that will be used for the algorithmic burn?
So the proportion of the node operator rewards distributed as rewards is determined by the level of staking relative to the total circulating supply, with the balance being returned to the treasury for burning. For example, if 30% of M&T is available and supply was staked, if 30% of the supply was staked, 30% of the M&T allocation for node holders would be issued as rewards, with 70% sent to the treasury account for burning.
Do we earn more rewards if we stake above the minimum level for the node?
So you do earn more rewards. We do support increased staking, and we can't give you metrics on this just yet, but in a future announcement in the very near future, we will detail this as much as possible.
When will earnings start to show in the dashboard or the Explorer, and also buybacks?
The dashboard will be loaded in the coming days for anybody that purchased tokens in the private sale or anybody that reserved nodes in the early node reservation round. All of that information will be loaded into the dashboard. We're working on that actively right now, and that'll take a couple more days.
Okay, we have a question now from Miski. Can nodes be operated on our mobile devices?
You can operate the Unity node on your mobile phones, but you cannot operate the validation or switch nodes on your mobile phones. Those ones require dedicated hardware or virtualized hardware. The specifications exactly are stated in the executive summary.
Questions from Nick. Might bigger companies duplicate the same software?
They might. You only have to take Uber as an example. Now you have GetTaxi, Cabify, MyTaxi, and many more. It provides further validation in the industry for Minutes Network. And the first 1.2 billion users that we're onboarding, we have an exclusivity deal with those users. So, I mean, we've already closed 10% of the world. We're now talking actively to a couple of additional companies that totally have around 2 to 3 more billion users. We have the first movers advantage on this one.
How are the apps onboarded?
The applications integrate an SDK that we provide. It's a snippet of code comparable to Google AdWords. You take the code, it's Kotlin, you insert it into your application, you run your application, and now all of the users in your user base are immediately onboarded as they update.
How does Minutes Network address scalability?
We're scalable by design. The architecture is fully scalable by design. It's engineered to be scalable. As we add applications to the network, as we add carriers to the network, the revenue will increase and the reward distributed will be increased.
I have a 50 megabyte per second download and upload speed, but also do a lot of trading. So I would not want it to affect that. How much bandwidth do nodes take up per second?
The switch nodes take a couple of megabytes per second of bandwidth. We recommend using a dedicated host or a co-location for those. You can run them from home, but you risk a low quality profile being reported on your token portal. And for the validation nodes, it's similar. We don't recommend you run them from home. You can run them from home. We provide benchmarking within the applications. The installation wizard will benchmark the connection that's being used. But generally speaking, we prefer and we recommend to run them from a virtual cloud provider or a dedicated server provider.
If there are more than 2,500 holders with more than 10,000 MNT who all want a node, how do you determine who gets a node and who doesn't?
It's first come, first served, but we do prioritize those who did not enter and buy nodes within the early staking round, early node reservation round.
As far as choosing a service provider as opposed to self-hosting the node, will there be some details regarding the reduction of rewards or a way to calculate the fees in the future?
If you choose to host the node with Minutes Network, there will not be additional fees, and we account for these fees within our reward that are distributed to Minutes Network. If you self-host the node, I think you can expect to pay $50 to $100 per month for the hosting requirement.
Okay, we have a question from John Boy. Is there any information from the beta that is running in Bangladesh on rewards and uptime coverage?
Yes, you can visit explorer.minutesnetworktoken.io now, and you can have a look at the analytics and metrics that we're reporting today from Bangladesh. And as time goes forward, we'll be adding more countries and we'll be upgrading the Explorer to contain different and more metrics and analytics.
Questions from Dodo. Do you have any documents about installation or hardware requirements for the validator nodes?
For installation, you can expect those in the staking portal. When we release staking, you'll have a wizard, an automatic installation wizard, and it will guide you through the process step by step. And it will also have some on-screen videos and images to explain the process further. Regarding hardware requirements, as I previously stated, they are available in the executive summary that we released recently.
Do you have any idea how much Minutes Network earns for terminating 1 minute of a call on average? Is it 1 cent per minute or is it more?
The rate of termination is country dependent. If you look at Africa, some of the countries in Africa are up to $1 a minute. If you look at USA, it's 1/10 of a cent. So it really depends on the destination that the call is going to. But I might add, its volume, volume is extremely important. So it's not just the rate. You can have a really low rate and a really high amount of volume in voice traffic, and you end up with a big number of revenue. Or you can have a really low amount of volume and a high rate, and you still end up with a big number. So it's volume and country dependent.
Will ownership of the nodes be represented by an NFT, which could be tradable on the open market?
Yes. Each node will have an NFT attached, and it will include your stake. When you stake any amount for a switch or validation node, you will receive an NFT for that stake. And when you unstake, you will give back the NFT and you will receive your tokens in return.
What incentives do people have to hold the token who are not node operators?
I think it's the same for any token. I'm not allowed to talk about price here. So I think it's something, related to every token. Obviously, the node operators are receiving a return in terms of a token return, so they're receiving rewards. If you hold the token alone, whilst there are no rewards, you might see it as a speculative hold.
Can Minutes Network terminate calls to landlines? If not, will terminating calls to landlines be possible in the future?
We have something very special lined up for terminating calls to landlines. I won't talk about it too much today. The current model does not support termination to landlines, and this is simply because landlines do not support Android software.
Question from Lee L. How is the project different from World Mobile?
World Mobile are connecting the unconnected, and they're providing internet to those who do not currently have internet or who have been left out by major operators and in areas with insufficient coverage. Minutes Network, we're working primarily and absolutely in the voice sector of the telecommunications industry, and our main goal and priority is to reinvigorate carriers' core profitability. So we're very different, but we're symbiotic in the sense that World Mobile are providing further decentralization to our network. They're providing Earth nodes, which we roll out the switch and validation nodes on, you have that option in your control panel. You can choose from, Amazon, AWS, Microsoft Azure Cloud, DigitalOcean, EarthNodes, Notify. There is a whole bunch of options for deployment, but we're very different from World Mobile. At the same time, we're very symbiotic. And World Mobile owning a MNO license, a mobile network operators license in the US, we can provide very, very competitive and aggressively low-cost routing for World Mobile's customers, allowing them to essentially win the market when it comes to voice calling. So we are different, but we support each other in our technologies.
Question from Vladis Pert. Is it possible to sell or change the validation node back for the M&T you put in, just in case I want to sell in a few years?
Yes, you can unstake the validation node. If you reserve the node in the early node reservation round, I believe there's a 3-month lockup period. However, after that period, you can unstake the node at your own discretion.
Question from Mr. Miyagi. Roughly, how much would it cost to run a switch node on a cloud computing service? Is there a recommended service?
We believe it costs around $50 to $100 a month. We recommend the top cloud providers with, high uptime and good SLAs. DigitalOcean, Microsoft Azure Cloud, Amazon AWS, any of the top cloud services are perfect for this operation.
Questions from Nico Verboten. Can you explain the token burn mechanism?
Yes, I can. I have explained it previously in a different question in this call, but I'll continue to explain again. So let's say that 30% of the available MNT supply was staked, and 30% of the MNT allocation for node holders would be issued as rewards, and the remaining 70% would be sent to the treasury for burning.
I don't understand what validation nodes do. The documentation says that they protect and check the health of switch nodes. It sounds like they are shielding the switches from public network.
No, they don't shield the switches from the public network, but it's a good question. The validation nodes ensure and protect the integrity of Minutes network infrastructure, and they check things like latency, jitter, they check for packet loss. We do some custom call signatures and voice signatures on the codecs we've developed for the platform. And essentially, they ensure that the network's integrity is running okay, and they ensure that the network's health is okay, and that all of the end users that are onboarded via applications are in a good space to receive a telephone call. If the validation node reports that any element of the network, be it an end user or a switch node or another validation node, is not in good service, it will remove the infrastructure from routing, and the carrier who sent the call will receive a 503 service unavailable, which is a standard term in the telecommunications industry. And this signal allows the carrier to reroute the call to their next provider in under 200 milliseconds.
There is a big price difference on hosting in AWS or DigitalOcean. How are those options given to the user?
So if you self-host, you can choose your own options. If you host with us as a managed solution, you can just literally click in the control panel and decide which option you'd like.
We now have a question from Darling. Will node rewards have a specific time to be claimed?
No, you can collect the node rewards at your own discretion and free will. There are no limits to when the node rewards should be claimed. You can claim them once per epoch, monthly epoch, or you can claim them once per year or once every 2 months. It's at your own choice.
Question from Highplane. I understand how Minutes Network generates incomes with voice. How is income generated with applications related to VoIP and OTT? Are they not already freely in use?
So we're not strictly VoIP or OTT. We are onboarding calls from the paid-for sector, from Tier 1 and Tier 2 carriers in the market, and we're using our hybrid proprietary solution for terminating the calls over an extension of the voice protocol that could be compared to OTT. So essentially, it's legacy to VoIP. It's traditional calling being terminated with the help of voice over IP in a brand new mechanism via applications.
Question from Mr. Roundry. Does the switch node have advantages over the validator node? I'm currently thinking about which option would be better, 1 switch or 5 validators.
There's no advantage. There's no more rewards paid. It's a 1-to-5 ratio. So if you have 1 switch node or 5 validation nodes, you're going to earn the same rewards.
Question from Oliver. What is the benefit for Earth node operators at World Mobile?
I will let World Mobile answer this question, but there is a benefit, and it's a significant benefit. Obviously, World Mobile allowing us to utilize the Earth node infrastructure further provides decentralization to our network, and also, as with any type of hosting, there is a cost involved. So I'll let World Mobile, at their own pace, reveal information on this question.
Questions from Prana Inu. I'm trying to understand reward system. I was reading that node stakers receive rewards from an allocation of 60% of the buyback-driven token reward pool. So these rewards are from revenue buybacks.
Yes, that's correct. The revenue is the net revenue is used by Minutes Network to purchase Minutes Network tokens on the open market, and they are distributed to network participants directly as rewards.
How about the algorithmic release of tokens for the 60 months? Is that separate? If so, are they subject to burning like the buyback rewards, or are they simply distributed to stakers regardless with a predetermined emissions algorithm?
So there's 2 things here. The 60-month release is not applicable to node stakers. It's only applicable to the external pools, and it is separate. They are subject to burning, like the buyback rewards, but not under the same mechanism. And rewards are distributed to stakers regardless with the predetermined emission algorithm.
A question from Crypto Newbie. Could you please explain how the 50% algorithmic burn fits into the reward system?
It's not exactly a 50% algorithmic burn. 50% algorithmic burn is an example. The algorithmic burn that takes place is related directly and derived from the circulating supply that has not been staked.
Questions from Anchored Nomad. How does Minutes Network work around the licensing requirements?
We don't work around the licensing requirements. In the majority of countries, there are no licensing requirements when running voice over IP, and we are not running infrastructure or using the national telephony grids in each country. We're using data to terminate the calls, and therefore we don't require licensing.
Are the buybacks random or scheduled?
They are algorithmically and provably random, issued by a smart contract.
Question from Big Chicken. What data retention requirements are there for this industry?
We have to be GDPR compliant. And in terms of data retention, because we work with large operators, it's the operator who's originating the calls responsibility to retain data and make access for law enforcement. However, this being said, we have considered ELI, and we do have a gateway in place for law enforcement. In terms of data retention requirements, it's not actually our obligation to provide these.
Thank you, Josh. We will now move to questions from the live audience.
Okay, so if anybody has any questions, would like to come up and ask them on stage, you're more than welcome, guys.
Okay, well, thank you all for attending and all your questions. That's it for today. We look forward to hosting our next session in the near future. So for now, thanks again, and every question counts.